Joining us live, Matt Hasselbeck, 18 years in the NFL. So it's interesting. We were saying this morning, you don't want to talk about a guy's money, but Matt Stafford's made a lot of it. $360 million. And here's the thing.
I think it's $365 million, but anyway, that's just on the field.
That's right. And, I know California taxes gobble up a little bit, but you start your career and you go to Green Bay, right? Well run. And Seattle, when you were there, Holmgren, well run. At any one time, there's about 10 well-run organizations. Right now, the Rams are one of them. How much does that mean if the money is greater elsewhere as you aged in your life, Matt? Do you sit down and go, listen, your agent may not be pushing this, but guys, McVay, indoors, weapons, I got no interest in the Giants. Is that a discussion you would have?
You discuss it all. And I would even say, University of Georgia is a long way from home, friends, all that stuff. But I think kids and family, like all the stuff comes into it. It's not just X's and O's. It's not just coaches. But there's some excitement. I would also just say it's a two-way street. If you're the Rams, you're saying to yourself, okay, how many more years is he going to play? So do we want high level quarterback play for another year or two? And then what? Or you look around at what some of these other teams have done, where you just have consistent high level quarterback play and you hand the baton off smoothly. A lot of people talk about Green Bay, but there's other teams that have had a smooth baton handoff. What if you did let Matthew Stafford go and, you were able to get a younger, slightly cheaper option? Maybe it is Sam Darnold coming back to, LA, who knows? But I do think it's a two-way street. All of this gets discussed and usually gets discussed at the combine. People think the combine's all about college kids working out. It's where a lot of deals get done as well.
Yeah, you're right. Somebody said this to me yesterday, a buddy of mine, John Middlecoff, former scout with the Eagles. Andy Reid hired him, and he said the difference between Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, Stafford will stay in that pocket and take shots. He will wait that extra half second. Aaron doesn't want to get hit at this point. He doesn't have any real interest. And he said, that's the difference. It's not arm talent. It's not that one moves great and one can't move. It's that Stafford is in it to win it, and he's going to take shots, and he's going to sit in that pocket. And he said, I don't know if Aaron at this point in his career is interested in that. What is your interpretation on where Aaron is today if the Rams got him for 2 years?
Yeah. So first of all, no quarterbacks like to get hit. So I can speak confidently about that. Stafford makes it look good. He's always got blood somewhere, kind of like Kurt Schilling with the bloody sock. He's always got like a bloody elbow, a bloody hand, like something. I don't see the Rams moving on from Matthew Stafford with the chemistry and the rapport. Like they're just next level, no look passes all day long and going to Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of like, I don't know why you would do that. I think what you would do is maybe that baton, that handoff. So you have, you go from basically you find your Jordan Love, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's what I could see happening. But no, I don't see Aaron in that. I don't see him in that situation. Not because I don't think he could do it, but it's kind of, I don't know. They're too similar. The age thing, I wouldn't make that move.
So Shedeur Sanders played a lot of college games. We got a lot of film, a lot of tape. People have seen him. I have a scout friend that went and watched him 3 times. He's not going to throw at the combine. Do you like that? What do you think of that?
I don't like it, but I'm not going to hold it against him either. I'll just say this. I've been at the combine for the last, 5 years with the wide receivers and the quarterbacks. I'm not planning on being there this year, but when I'm there, there's guys that choose not to throw. I will tell you, once their agent tells them, hey, don't throw, you're going to have a pro day, throw there. Everyone advises them that. When they sit around, when they're at Lucas Oil Stadium and they're sitting there and they're watching the other guys throw, it's killing them. Like they want to be throwing. They want to be out there throwing. So what would I recommend? I'd say to the guys, listen, if you're confident in your ability, throw, compete. Let's compete at everything we do. Let's compete. Yeah. Now, you're not going to run the 40. You're not going to do the 225 bench test. You're not going to do all that stuff. But no, the smarter thing is to not throw, wait and just throw on your pro day. But I know it's going to be hard watching. I know that. It's going to be boring and hard. And you're going to want to be one of the guys, getting that arm on tape. The good thing, like you said, is his arm's already on tape. So people can go look at that. So he's got good film out there.
So the Darnold thing kind of throws me for a loop. I like him. I like him a lot. I think
You love him. You love him. You don't like him. You love him.
I do. And I also kept saying all year, I was waiting for the shoe to drop. That Lions game, I'm like, I know Sam. He can be reckless. He's got a little Carson Wentz where, series to series, he looks like the best guy in the league. And then all of a sudden, what does it tell you that a story comes out that Minnesota is considering options here and re-signing him? What does that tell you, Matt?
It tells me that everyone else did their offseason evaluation and it's now getting leaked. He's the number one free agent quarterback that people are going to be looking for. Everyone else around the league likes their girlfriend more than they know they should like their girlfriend, is basically what I'm saying. They love him. He's their top guy. And he's on the top of their list. And they're like, oh, shoot, he's on the top of their list. Like maybe we should relook at him a little bit closer. But they're well positioned. They have JJ McCarthy. They have Daniel Jones. They have options. That'll be an interesting one to see. I think that's the big domino that will decide. I mean, Stafford and Darnold, those are the two dominoes that'll decide a lot here.
What are you doing? And we can use Sam Darnold in this. What did you do in late February, early March? What do you do as a quarterback right now?
Yeah, every year is a little bit different. The strength coaches will tell you, get away, recharge, play other sports that are safe, obviously, do other types of training. Like if you've never, they play pickleball. Some guys play basketball, that kind of stuff. Cardio, maybe you do CrossFit, Pilates, like whatever. Work on what you think you need to do to get healthy and get back so that you can be ready for your off-season training program. There'll be, some guys go to a quarterback guru. Some people do off-season studies, but a lot of it is something new and fresh and cross-training. Remember one year I went to Vancouver and lived up there for a little while and trained with a guy that trained mostly hockey players, hockey and soccer, ironically. And that was incredible for me. One time I went down to Arizona and spent time with a guy that dealt with baseball players and pitchers and that kind of thing. Something different so that and just kind of dabble in the throwing so that when you ramp it up in March and April, you're able to be somebody that can be healthy enough and for competitive throws, I guess. But you don't want to go all out. You really want to peak when you show up for training camp. And it is a unique schedule. Like pitchers and throwers show up in baseball for their season. Football, you come back for OTAs and you come back for voluntary mini camps and you come back for mandatory mini camps. Then you take like a month and a half off so the coaches can go fishing or something like that, get their vacation finally. And then you come back for training camp and that's go time when your arm as a thrower has to be ready to roll.
So we were talking about the Bengals where Joe Burrow all year was cranky. And my take was he wanted to send a message. This was not a coincidence. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, they let players go like Joe Mixon. And Joe, to his credit, said, listen, I look around the league at Philadelphia's roster. I look around the league at the Niners roster. We got to find money. Are players aware on average of a team's financial situation? Is that talked about? Again, the Seahawks had Paul Allen, the late Paul Allen. Money was not a problem with Seattle, right? But not every organization has a Stan Kroenke or a Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, you tell me, did you know about finances of your team and what they could afford and what they couldn't and where they were at?
At the highest level, like the teams that have all the money and the teams that have the least amount of money. And because your agents are telling you. I think the unfortunate thing for the Cincinnati Bengals, like going way back, they were a team that wasn't spending money. They weren't spending money on scouts. Like when I was coming out of the draft, every team had coaches and scouts. The Bengals basically had coaches who also did the scouting.
Wow.
I don't think it was actually the worst thing, but it was back in the day. It was different. Now, I think the Bengals are not the Bengals that they used to be. I think they're willing to pay. I mean, they obviously paid Joe Burrow. They're going to pay people, but you have to get creative. Now, listen, they had a lot of money spent on offense this year, and you saw that didn't work out for them as a team. So they got to figure out, like everybody else, how to put the pieces of the puzzle together. When they went to the Super Bowl, they had a formula. It was free agency on one side of the ball, and it was draft on the other side of the ball. But about these fantasy players that you can't lose guys like a BJ Hill. You can't lose the glue guys that hold the team together. And so it's not quite as easy as you think. And when you have a quarterback making that much money, it gets a lot more difficult. So we'll see. He said he's open to restructuring. But I would just say there's a lot of teams out there that are willing to pay and can pay top dollar for T. Higgins.
Finally, NFL changed its kickoff. People didn't like the optics. The numbers are out. Concussions down, returns up. What do you make of that, and what did you make of the change?
I think it's great. I think it's a credit to the NFL and the NFLPA, and then also to the special teams coaches who worked in collaboration with the competition committee at the combine and said, hey, here's what we think would work. I think it was data driven, which I really appreciate. There aren't a lot of concussions on punts. There's way too many concussions on kickoffs. How can we make a kickoff look more like a punt? Now, I would say there's sort of the law of unintended consequences. Now your kicker's got to tackle because it's a lot more easy to design up plays. Now your kicker's got to tackle. So I think you probably saw, I don't have the data here, you probably saw more injuries of kickers this year because they were forced to, play a little 9-on-7 ball. So we'll see. Maybe it opens up more opportunities for aspiring kickers out there. Teams don't get through the season with just one guy.
Matt Hasselbeck. You said you've been to the combine. Do you make the trip? I know you played for the Colts. It's in Indianapolis. Do you go to it?
You know what? I was uninvited to the NFL combine in 1998 when Ryan Leaf came out early as a junior. And so when I got the opportunity to go back as a combine mentor, what I really heard was the NFL would finally like to invite you to the combine. So that was my true motivation, Colin.
Hey, that jet fuel still burning today. Matt Hasselbeck, great seeing you, Matt, on a Monday. Thanks, man.
All right, see ya.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.